Now, without doubt, and it goes without saying, social media has brought with it so much good from an Islamic perspective. The ability to advertise a talk like this, record it, publish it, share it, allowing people from the four corners of the globe to benefit from it. The countless brothers and sisters who spend their evenings thinking about how to carefully craft that next Islamic reminder to help people find their way back to their religion. Thousands of people who found their way to Islam through social media. Quran that is recited, hadith that is promoted, misinformation that is corrected. La ilaha illallah. So much khair. And when someone does a good because of something you post, expect the same reward without any of their reward detracting. It has brought with it opportunities, not just from an Islamic perspective, from a non-Muslim, secular perspective, a business perspective, career perspective. LinkedIn, to know the other fellow professionals out there, to know your tribesmen, to know your family, to communicate with people in Palestine or in Yemen or in Pakistan, Somalia. It helps you discover who your cousins are, your aunties are, your greats are. Those who want to further their career, climb up the ladder, the corporate ladder. It helps you do that by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission. That's on one side of the spectrum, but on the other side of the spectrum, it has also brought with it a heap full of harms on the adults and on the children as well. Social media. A person's nightlife is quite ruined if you become obsessively addicted with social media. You can't sleep a proper full night anymore. These blue light emissions that you are absorbing all of the time, it affects your sleep rhythms. And then if you add to that obsessive twitch to quickly remove the fly mode from your phone and to check your latest notification, and then you get that next hit of dopamine and adrenaline, and now you're awake and you can't sleep, and it becomes even shorter of a night. So you're knackered in the night, you can't sleep, and by day you're knackered because you haven't slept, and then your whole life becomes a misery. That's one thing. A second thing, think about your ability to be alone with Allah, alone with yourself. Young boys, young girls can't do that anymore because social media has, for the most part, removed that ability from us. Because every opportunity that you're not speaking to someone or working or doing something, it's an opportunity to put your hand in your pocket and to see what's going on the other side of the world. So you have no time for yourself. So with the passage of 5, 10, 15 years, you lose the ability of finding contentment with just being alone. To sit in khalwa, privacy with Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. A lot of us can't do that, especially the younger generation. You're looking outwardly all of the time, outwardly. And then when you're sat alone, you're looking outwardly into what the world is doing. You are unable to sit and to think inwardly for a moment about your Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is an issue. One of the greatest ways of boosting iman is learning how to sit alone, without a phone, without a friend, without a parent for a moment in your day or night. And for many of us, we can't do that anymore because we feel that there's value in us that's missing, so we try to find that value elsewhere. There's heaps of evidence now to prove beyond fact that some of the loneliest, saddest, most depressed and anxious people on planet Earth are those who use their phones, their social media specifically most. It's interesting, you think that the more friends you had online, the less lonely you feel. That's not the situation, that's not the science at all actually. It's like the more chocolate you have in an aisle in the supermarket does not help you curb your desire for chocolate any more than an aisle that has fewer chocolates. Lonely. Why? Because you are constantly comparing your life, your miserable or boring life that doesn't have vacations, doesn't have business, doesn't have the latest Jordans. You're comparing your life to the highlight reel of your neighbor, to the highlight reel of someone in Australia. And they've removed all of the blemishes and the flaws of their day. So they feel lonely. Social media users feel isolated. They feel inadequate. Look at how social media has, for many people, made them completely socially incompetent, especially maybe the younger generation, Gen Z. They can't hold a long and deep and meaningful conversation with you, looking at you eye to eye. That's gone. Because over the passage of years, when you're obsessively using social media, what happens? Your mind now is hardwired and short-circuited to only be able to deal with short comments, LOLs, thumbs up, likes, hashtags, shares, and you lose the ability to become an interpersonal human being. You can't do it anymore. So social media teaches you that if there's a problem in your relationships, don't worry, you can just get out of it. Just click the block button. End of story. Does that represent reality? Reality is far more sophisticated than that. Far more messy, far more entangled, far more intertwined. You've got to be intelligent, you've got to be socially smart, you've got to look at people, you've got to talk with them, you've got to know how to deal with difficult circumstances. Social media says to you that this is an image that you gape over, you impress over, you share, you comment, you like, and that's it. It doesn't teach you to look at a woman, for example, as a mother,